Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, I'm doing episode 1 of a 10-part series sponsored by Patreon subscriber Trazeth, playing Duel Commander. Trazeth loves this format, wants to see it on my channel, be a regular thing, and has fronted the goods to make it happen 10 times. Duel Commander is a 1v1 version of Commander. It has its own ban list, its own rule set. Really, the only similarity is that you have a Commander that you start your deck and have to build around. But it's 20 life. There's no Commander damage rules. Like I said, it's against one person. It's very close to just 100 card singleton legacy in a lot of ways. And that leaves room for a lot of cool things to happen. I've played this format on the channel a few times before, and I've enjoyed it every time. And this format also offers competitive outlets. I know it's really big over in France. They have a Black Lotus tournament once in a while. That always comes through my feed when it happens. There are opportunities to play this this format seriously for real prizes. Today's episode is Tifa Lockhart. 1 and a green, 1/2 trample, landfall. When a land enters, double Tifa's power until end of turn. This is Get 'em Dead Stompy. Naturally, the things you're going to want with a landfall commander is ways to make lands fall, and there's no good way to get this whole deck on the screen for you. Sorry. Go check my Mox field if you want it. Links are in the video description. But we've got the full spread of fetch lands you can play. The good ones, the bad ones. We've got the proper actual fetch lands. We've got the Evolving Wild kind of stuff. We've got the Cabretti Courtyard kind of stuff. Even Ghost Courting yourself, Fable Passage. We got the panoramas. If it can grab a forest, it's probably here. And the other thing you're going to want to do is buff Tifa's power, because doubling is better if the first double starts from a bigger number. You see how that works? That's just math, baby. And that means a huge percentage of the deck is pump spells, and a lot of them also offer protection for Tifa, +1 and hexproof. Hexproof, and put a +1 counter on it, and it has ward 1 forever after that. Vines of Vastwood. Target creature can't be the target of spells your opponents control, and if you kick it, it's also a pump spell. Safekeeping. I'm not going to list every card in the deck, but you see what's happening here. And we just have the best in class pump spells. We've got Invigorate here. We've got Scale Up, Embiggen's in this deck. And then a bunch of other stuff you'll recognize from the standard landfall deck. We've got Ice Explorer, Mightform, Harvester, Rest in Peace, Badger Mole Cub. You're still allowed here. Mossborn Hydra, also part of the standard deck. Pretty straightforward execution here, and I look forward to playing it. This is Mono Green Tifa in Duel Commander. I'm on the draw in round 1, which is hilarious because Gemstone Caverns is in my hand. I'm against Dargo and Ikra. The way partnered commanders work in Duel Commander is once you cast one of them, that's the one you get for the game. You can still build your deck around the colors of partnered commanders, but you can't actually cast both of these. And I'm going to assume that Dargo is the one that's actually going to be cast, and Ikra is here for the colors. And this is probably some sort of Aristocrats looping deck. And I'm definitely keeping. And I'm going to put in Gemstone Caverns, just have to decide what I'm pitching. If they're an interactive Jund deck, Sirach could be really good. When am I ever casting Elvish Reclaimer? All right, I'm going to pitch Elvish Reclaimer because I think I'm just going to cast Tifa on turn 1. Though casting Tifa on turn 3 and defending it with Defend the Rider might be more appealing. Ooh, Centaur Garden. Okay, that lets me hold back a fetch land. I'm going to play the Broker's Hideout. Yeah, I guess if I had mapped this out, I would have pitched Sirach instead, because I'm going to take a turn off to develop Tifa here, and protect her. If I knew that this was a full send combo deck of some variety, I would just run her out there, but Jund colors, gotta assume interaction. There's a Wishclaw Talisman. All right, cool. I'm going to play Tifa, and I can give her Indestructible and Hexproof. And next turn, I can do 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 28. And that doesn't even cost all my mana. Like, if they don't go after Tifa now, I can also defend her mid-combo. Defend the Rider's a sick one, because the other mode is make a 1/1 pilot, which means I'm also insulated versus Edict effects. It'll push. All right, I will defend my Rider. Hexproof and Indestructible. Let's hope you don't have two things. Handled. Okay. One of us is in trouble because I'm going in. Oh, do a kickflip. Do I have time for this? I don't think so. I'm just going to try to win. And I have to commit my pump spells before my land drop because that's how doubling works. Oh, shit. Respond to that. Almost messed up. Okay. This is 16. And I will commit. It's too late to dismember. I mean, Snuff Out would still work. There's no 1-mana edicts for which I would get Dryad Arbor here. All right, I'll play Skateboard and tap the Bayou and just see. All right, so it has to be Snuff Out. Attack you. Neat. There it is. That's what Tifa does. And Magic Online presents the sideboarding screen because that's how their best of 3 program works, but you don't actually sideboard in this format. And like Magic Online support is one of the greatest things about this format too. You could just queue up a regular league. You get to play 5 rounds. You get prizes based on those rounds. Same as playing any air quotes real format or regular Wizards of the Coast sanctioned format, I think is the nicer way to say that. Okay, this will take me a turn to start doing stuff if I don't top deck a forest, but I think it's still worth keeping. Got a Bloodstained Mire, turn 1 Raucous Theater in the main phase. Yeah, Jund could be just grindy colors. It could be like Treasure Storm. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. It could also be something like Reanimator. I'm sure the Duel Commander experts are already mad at me for not knowing exactly what my opponent's deck is based on their commanders, but hey, I'm learning here. Give me a break. I'm playing your format. Let me chill. Okay, Ursin Monstrosity. I could play Ursine Monstrosity here. I could also play Tifa and hold up Blossoming Defense. Beginning of combat on your turn, mill a card and choose an opponent at random. This creature attacks that player if able. Until end of turn, this creature gets +1/+1 indestructible for each card to mill here. Yeah, this is just like a big green idiot. Can I win next turn? Not really. I can make Tifa 5 power and double it to 10, assuming I have to protect it with defense. Yeah, I guess I will develop the Monstrosity and just I gotta deal 20 somehow. It doesn't all have to come from Tifa. All right, I mill a card. Monstrosity buffs, can't attack. It is summoning sick. I imagine we'll see a Surveil land here. There it is. Dump Tree of Tails. Heck yeah. Twinsies. Vibrant Cityscape was the top card on my deck. That's just a Terramorphic Expanse variant. So that actually would have been lethal, but I can't know that when I'm mapping out my turn that I'm going to top deck exactly a fetch land, even though I do play a lot of them. Yeah, Ursa Monstrosity's ability doesn't target. It is this thing gets the buff. It's not like I can put the buff on Tifa, which would be cool. Just a guy. Just a horrible bear. Does anyone remember the movie Annihilation, where there is a horrible bear like this in that movie? My wife cannot handle horror, or especially body horror, and we did not know what Annihilation was when we went to the theater. And she spent that entire scene, the bear scene, like covering her ears and eyes and weeping. And I asked her if she wanted to leave, and she was too scared to get up and leave the theater because then she would have to open her eyes. So we just toughed it out. Great movie, though. The opponent thought for a long time for the entire duration of that story, and a little bit longer, and then just passed into their second main phase. What does Urza's Saga get in this deck? Adventuring Gear and Skateboard. That's not very many hits for that, but I guess it's fine. How many do you need? I mean, Skateboard being in play is pretty nice. That can be suddenly Tifa coming in hot. Fabled Passage. Okay, I can save that for Tifa. That's a good one. Lazatep Quarry. I think it might be time to invest Bossing Say. I don't control a basic land. It would enter tapped. I think I'll just start by attacking with Ursin Monstrosity. Okay, that must attack, so it will. I'm probably not playing Tifa this turn because I can get the Skateboard, tap one of my opponent's lands, give Tifa a buff, starting buff, and so it cost me 3 mana to play Tifa and equip her next turn. That would be 1, 2, 3. And then I have my land drop, which would be Fabled Passage, and Llanowar Elves to go Might of Old Curse of Blossoming Defense. I think that's better. I could also play Lazatep Quarry this turn and leave up double green. I guess I have double green anyway. Yeah, I have Beseiju plus Blossoming Defense anyway, so I'll just play a tapped Bossing Say and pass. I am getting the rando buff, the Miser's Tree of Tails, making my constructs bigger. There's a little bit of Delirium stuff going on in the deck. There's the one Urza Saga. I don't know if there's anything else that cares about me having an artifact in play. But what the heck? If you get it on the house, you take it. Okay, here's Expedition Map. This is why I left up Beseiju. Like, I don't know what they have here. If they get something like Maze of Ith. Okay, Lake of the Dead. They're going for it this turn, whatever it is. This is a sick card. I loved this card when I was a kid. I had a bunch of them. One of the few cards that I owned in my life that I don't own anymore, which is a bummer because this is over $100 now at these weird reserve list rares. Okay. Arid Mesa instead of Lake of the Dead. They're just banking that for the future. Demonic Tutor, a powerful card. Resolves. Okay, I am just going beat down, and notice like they are at 13 here. They're not. I don't have to win with Tifa, and I've got other stuff I can do. Okay, on my turn. Do not make another construct. I'm going to tutor Skateboard, which is going to tap the red. Both these lands are black, and red is a better removal color than green. Okay, floated a black. I'm going to go Tifa. Oh, I lost a land. Fabled Passage doesn't work. I did not account for that. Shit. That was kind of loose. I could still hit pretty hard this turn. All right, I'll play Tifa. My combo opponent has resolved 2 tutors, so I got time to figure this out, I guess. Or I should not give them too much time to do their thing. Okay, equipping Skateboard to Tifa. He did not respond, so now she has Ward 1. And yeah, I guess it's just Lazotep Quarry then. Yeah, I messed up the Fabled Passage. Just forgot that my land count was going to change. Or no, I should play Beseiju, respond to Tifa's trigger with Might of Old Krosa. That's how we do this. Okay. That looks like enough. Figured it out. Yeah, Might of Old Krosa gives +4 if it's cast in your main phase, but it doesn't specify if it's cast at sorcery speed. Okay, this is enough damage, and I still have Blossoming Defense to get it done. And they just got nothing. All right, yeah, resolved a Demonic Tutor and then died to my commander. Love to see it. I don't know what my opponent's deck does, but it was building up something cool. On to the next one. This year, September 18th through 20th, I'll be attending my 4th consecutive Commander Sealed event in Rochester, New York. This event is really awesome, incredible community, and the main event is one of the most brain-busting, limited sealed deck environments you could imagine, and the gameplay is incredible as well. There's a whole weekend full of events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to do stuff, and most importantly, the entire event is there to benefit charity. I am personally chipping in my part to raise money for Trans Lifeline. Whether you're able to attend the main event or not, chipping in a few bucks to my donation link helps me out, helps the event out, keeps this thing crushing its mission year after year. I'll see you there if you can make it, and if you can't, thanks for the support. This donation link is in the video description. I'm on the draw in round 2 versus an Atraxis strategy. This is the first Duel Commander deck I ever played on the channel. It was kind of a Dream Halls combo deck. I have turn 2 Tifa here. I can't protect her till turn 4, or turn 3. I don't have my 3rd land. I think I will keep this. Opponent's on a Multa 6. And scrub land from them. Okay, Forest is a nice draw. I think I just want to get this Broker's Hideout out of the way. This is one of the bad fetch lands. Let's just get it spent. Then I can spend turn 2 developing Seal of Strength. And then turn 3 Tifa and Protect, try to win on turn 4. They cycled for Bayou and then played it. Fair enough. Oh, I get 2 spells. Fun. All right, Seal of Strength and Birds of Paradise. Now I can play Tifa and double Protector, or I could play Tifa and sandbag my fetch land. Eladamri's Call. This could get something like Orcish Bowmaster. Academy Rector, that's way scarier. Okay. Oh, Academy Rector probably gets Dream Halls, and then they start ripping. They do have to play and then kill this thing, though. Demonic Tutor could get, like, Cabal Therapy, or I assume the various Modern Horizons 3 Sacrifice a Thing things are legal here. I don't know if they would play them, but I'm sure they exist. Okay, there's a Rector in hand and a Resolved Demonic Tutor. Scythe Cat Cub. I don't think that's where I want to be with my life. Yeah, I think the Tifa double protect is the line. And I think I'm going to have to play my land out to make sure that happens. And I'll play it before I do it, just in case there's some soft counter that I don't know about. Cycling Generous Ent. Okay, what's the setup? Am I dead? Tropical Island. Flash. Yeah, that works. Okay. Yep. Flash puts in Academy Rector. And does this get Dream Halls, or is there something even worse for me? Okay, Dream Halls. Let's see if they cast their deck here. Both players are allowed to access the Dream Halls, so I can discard green cards to cast spells from my hand here. Enlightened Tutor, Silence, Eagles of the North, Solve the Equation. Solve the Equation looks pretty good, but that is 2 sorceries. They'd need another blue card to turn that on. Does this deck play Conflux? That would be sweet. Or no, it can't, because Atraxa is only 4 colors. Never mind. Tundra, Solve, Silence, Signet, Eagles. I'm getting Silence now. Yikes. I guess I should protect Tifa in response. They might just combo me out, but let's at least do that. Okay. There is a Cabal Therapy in the graveyard. Where did that even come from? Was that discarded to hand size last turn? No, that's not possible, because they cast Flash. Literally, where did this come from? I don't even know. Oh, they discarded it to cast Atraxa. Understood. Never mind. All right. That broke my brain for a second, but there is a Dream Halls in play. Okay, this would be a great turn to draw land. Big Rips. Oh my goodness. Scythe Cat Cub. I guess I could have discarded Sirach to cast that, but it doesn't really matter. Seal of Strength. Dismember in response. I will defend my rider. Hexproof and Indestructible. And I can discard Sirach to Titanic Growth still in response. All right. Oh, right. That doesn't matter. Oh, wait. No, Hexproof does. All right. Indestructible doesn't. My brain broke for a second there. Okay. There's some trigger fudgery happening here. So we've got when a land enters, +1 counter on target creature you control. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, double the number of counters. Okay, so I want to play this, let this trigger resolve, let this trigger resolve, and then go again. All right, but I actually want to Titanic Growth first. Windswept Heath, and this should outmuscle an Atraxa. I've not done the math, but I hope I don't need to. Yeah, okay. That scales pretty hard. All right, my opponent fully executed everything they wanted to do, but it wasn't good enough in the face of my queen with her double protection. Skyclave Pickaxe. When it enters, attach it. Okay, that plays. Court of Garenbrig. That introduces the Menarche. I have no protection spells. I think I'm still going to keep. Yeah, I feel like I was a blue card out of their hand away from death that game. Like, that solved the equation. I got to imagine that can do something pretty messed up. Emergent Ultimatum, that sort of thing. I am looking at lists, by the way. I've decided it's best when playing against a combo control deck to know the things they could do. All right, Inquisition of Kozilek. That plays. What do you want? I'm going to do the old trick of moving them around, make it harder to grab one. Yeah, I wonder if they're worried about Court of Garenbrig. That is a unique thing. Yeah, okay. That's the thing that doesn't make Tifa pop off, but does function as its own sort of thing if they're on the control plan. The Bridgeworks battle. All right, I'm going to go into the Broker's Hideout here. And I'm just going to play Tifa on 2. The commander rules apply. I can cast her again for 4 mana at some point. If I don't draw a protection spell, I'll just run it out. And then we can Saga game. Okay, Urza's Saga. And this Besage is interesting versus Dream Halls. Here we go. She's in there. I can gather Courage by Convoking if they have damage or size-based removal, which is not really black and white's color pie, but I've got it. Meticulous Archive. Dump the Silence. Wooded Foothills. Abrupt Decay. Yep, can't stop that one. I would like to return Tifa to the command zone. Okay, I am Saga gaming here, and I'm holding up a Seiju to blow out a possible Dream Halls situation. Getting the skateboard makes my Tifa better when I recast her. I've got land drops to make. Good for a while there. Demonic Tutor. Okay. A powerful spell. They're going to flash their Rector at me again? Not yet. Okay. Construct number 1. Construct number 2. I'm going to search for the skateboard. I may have messed up already. I mean, tutoring Dream Hall straight up here is pretty reasonable. Yeah, I mean, skateboard is still to get. Tap your command tower. I don't have a legend I can play. And maybe I wasn't supposed to make the second construct there against this deck. Noted. Lesson learned. I will just suit up the skateboard and attack for as much as I can. And Might Form Harmonizer is capable of some messed up stuff as well. Did I have lethal with Might Form if I just didn't make a construct? This would have been a 2-2. Play Harmonizer. 4-4-8-8. Okay. They can Thoughtseize me, but they can't take Boseiju, which is nice. Probably taking Harmonizer here would be my guess. The rest of my hand's pretty bad. But they are now dead on board, and they got to do something. Harmonizer's gone. You're at 6. Show and tell. Okay, pretty good. Okay. Does Pickaxe help me versus Terramorphic Expanse? I think I should put in Expanse. Okay. Oh, Omniscience. Well, that's cards from your hand. But that doesn't cast Atraxa. Enter the Infinite. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your library. Okay. Yeah, you got me. Holding up a Boseiju would have been good there. My bad. Okay, let's go. I'm on the play. Can I get up under it? Not with this hand. Mulligan. Okay. I like this. I think... So Green Sun Zenith. So Elvish Spirit Guide plus Snakeskin Veil is pretty gross. I kind of like the Wild Growth. I mean, I'm on the play with a different ramp spell, so I don't need the Spirit Guide. I'll keep this and put Spirit Guide to the bottom. I don't think I want to turn 1 the Tifa. That just seems like... I mean, it would show up a turn before opponents expecting it to, if they have 2-mana interaction in hand, but if they just have the Plow or the Push or any such thing, I'm in trouble. Okay, Wild Growth. And I do think Wild Growth is better than Zenith here, because Zenith can be a land drop. Okay, land pass. I don't like Panorama. That can be 2 land drops next turn. Bossing Say does come untapped here. Here's Tifa. 1 layer of protection. Willow Rush Verge. Underground Sea. So they have bug mana available here. Snakeskin Veil. Do you have a Spell Pierce too? Yes, you do. All right, not bad. Not bad. But I've ramped, so I can replay Tifa immediately. Pretty good survival there. Okay. Now I have actually interesting decisions to make. I could replay the Tifa and present lethal next turn, or I could try to do something else. I could Zenith for 3, or I could Chocobo plus Zenith for 2. What do I have? I've got Scythecat Cub, Bristly Bill, Badger Mole Cub, Keen Eye Curator, I'm not worried about that. Bloated Contaminator, Sirach, Osborne Hydra. That card's pretty big. Sirach is card advantage, but I do deck myself if they have their Bowmaster. I do have to actually think about that interaction. Pima Trailblazer. 3/3 trample. Words about energy. Yeah, that doesn't sound like the one. Nakia, Wakandan Operative. When I play my commander, I become the Monarch. That's cool. But it doesn't make me the Monarch now. I could also play Panorama and Bossing Say to Earthbend it and be on the Mega Slow. I could get the Ursine Monstrosity and start pounding in. I'm kind of interested in Nakia. Like, being the Monarch here might be a problem for their deck. Like, it makes them combo kill me. The control route doesn't work anymore. I don't have any straight up indestructible creatures. Okay, I'm going to play Panorama and Zenith for 3. I have decided. Traveling Chocobo. That could be card advantage. Is that one better? I didn't even recognize this card in my deck because it's blue. All right, yeah, I'm going to get Traveling Chocobo. That's kind of... it's not so threatening that they would necessarily rip off any removal spell they have on it, but it's also good enough that I would be interested in keeping it. Kind of threading the needle there. At least that's how I'm looking at it. Monstrosity is neither a bird nor a land, so in order to get paid here, I would need a land on top of my deck. But Monstrosity does clear the top card of my deck. I could go, like, Monstrosity, move to combat, mill a card. If that's a land or a bird, we get to play. Preordain went top. Scary. Arcane Signet. They're building up. A lot of scary stuff happens at 4 and 5 mana in this deck. All right, can I get a land on top? Seal of Strength. No, I cannot. Monstrosity. Play that pre-combat. Mill 1. There's now a land on top. Attack. Get in for some damage. Saw's Chocobo, which is about to be huge. All right, always yield. Riveteer's Overlook triggers twice, but it only counts once because you can only sacrifice it once. Okay, bang, bang. There's a land on top of my deck. That doesn't matter anymore because I'm going to draw that one. Okay, pass the turn. Am I dead? Because I've presented a lot of damage here. Saprosan's scary. That could be scarier. Leyline Binding. All right, you want the Chocobo or the Monstrosity? Probably the Chocobo. The Traveling Chocobo, yeah. Good call. Good bet. Okay, I've got the Temple to the Grandfathers here. How much can I attack for? This is base power toughness, which can make this 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, are you dead? You look pretty dead. All right, is there a Bossing Say thing to do here, or do I just have it? Okay, +1 for each card type and 1 card's in your graveyard. There's instant enchantment land. This is 6. I can make this 10. All right, I think you're just dead if you don't have a counterspell or a snuff out. Okay. How do all my things interact? Battlefield tapped. Okay, I can't do everything here. I can do plenty, though. All right. First sign Monstrosity, trigger, attack for 18. Sweet. Yeah, distract them with the early Tifa and then get them with the rest of the deck. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 3 versus Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is mostly a 1-mana, 5-color commander. It's a Savannah Lion with a powerful ability at some point in the game, I guess. I like my curve out here. I'm going to keep the super stupid stuff, like the Deflecting Swat, Fierce Guardian kind of stuff that EDH is built around is banned in this format, so I don't have to worry about that from this 1-mana commander. I'm looking up a Nick Fury list now. Yeah, it appears to be just whatever you want it to be. I don't know, the first build that came up is a straight-up Storm deck. It's just a Grixis Storm deck. So I guess this could be anything, and I should not take it too seriously. Okay. Forest. Saw's Chocobo. Tamiyo does not appear in the list that came up when I opened this on Goldfish, so who knows what's going on anymore. It is important to remember in this format that your commander's visible before the game starts. Like my opponent knew I was Tifa when they kept their hand. And unlike Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tifa's pretty clear in her intentions. Okay, I can develop Seal of Strength and hold up Royal Treatment. I could develop Tifa into this terrifying spread of every counterspell, every removal spell is represented by these 2 lands. Yeah, I think I'll play Urza Saga next turn. I don't think I'm going to Beseiju this deck, but a green source is pretty nice. Seal of Strength. Let's get that in the mix. I have played around the soft permission. Every version of Force Spike is played and good in this format. Like Force Spike, Mana Tithe, Daze. Is Daze legal? Daze does appear to be legal. Yeah, Daze, Spell Pierce, all that shit. Cracked a clue in the end step. That's fine. Tamiyo's still trucking. If my opponent has 2 removal spells, they will beat my Tifa here. Is waiting a good idea? I'm going to play Urza Saga and declare my attack. See if my opponent does anything. I could just play Nakia this turn and threaten to take the Monarch next turn. I wish this commander had any identity whatsoever. It's literally just 1 mana, 5 colors in the command zone. The words on it don't matter at all. And it's card advantage if the game gets super grindy, but it doesn't even like tell you a story. There are 5-color commanders like Nigila that ask you to do a certain thing. This is literally just these are the cards that there are. Okay, I can give my Chocobo the royal treatment here, or I can accept this exchange of resources and deploy Tifa now that my opponent has spent a removal spell. Yeah, I'm gonna take this exchange and just play Tifa. If she gets countered, that kind of stinks, but I think this is the spot to make this move. Yeah, that's the bad one. All right, gets countered. I'll put her back in the command zone and pass the turn, and now I'm Saga Gaming. Cards like Tail's End and Wash Away, which are conditional counter spells in normal Magic, are just incredible interaction for commanders in this format. Yeah, Tamio running amok over there. I will get my bad fetch land out of the way. I just drew a good fetch land. Tamio draws 2. Oh god, Tamio. I can't escape this thing. It's so good all the time. Opponent is down to 12 though from Dismember and a Shock land and a fetch land. These saga tokens could get to work. And giving them hexproof is as good as anything else. Tamio still battling. Watery Grave zapped it in, down to 10. That's a lot of mana of a lot of colors. Nick Fury, Agent of Shield. Okay, so they can actually do the thing here. Put 2+1 counters on Nick. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a hero, equipment, or vehicle card from among them onto the battlefield. If it's a double face card, you may transform it. Okay. I'm going to fetch in the end step. And I'm actually going to pass priority on making a construct. Because they're trying to bet. Like, I don't really want them to flip cards. Like, they want me to tap out, and then they're going to flip their card. Is it better for me to... Because I currently have priority. If I just pass, nothing will happen here. They don't get to Nick Fury, but they could just do it next turn. All right, whatever. Yeah. That is not worth the cleverness if they flip into something that can fight or destroy a construct. Oh, wow. Okay. So that was not their intention to ever power this up. Black, white, blue, green. Okay, they could have and didn't. So they just wanted Savannah Alliance in play. All right, I guess I can mess with that. It does block. It doesn't have to block. All right, I'll make another construct. I'm on my grindy life here. Do a kick flip. I guess I want to tap the white land. Loaded a white. And they clearly have spells in their hand because they didn't take the Nick Fury flip. Play a land. Equip the skateboard. Crop rotation. There is a Talon Gates in the deck. The other lands don't matter a lot here. Okay, let's pass priority and get this white out of the pool. And then just truck for 7, which is actually 10 because I have Seal of Strength. Yeah, if my opponent hadn't drawn 4 extra cards this game, I probably would have tapped Nick Fury and tried to get it done, but I would like them to block with Nick Fury so the card advantage giant flip isn't available. Heroes, equipments, and vehicles. I mean, that's a pretty slim number of things. Maybe their deck just isn't even built to do this. How many heroes could you possibly put in this deck that are playable in Eternal format? I don't even know. That's probably just Savannah Alliance to block, actually. If they block the big one, I can go... Okay, cracking a clue. I can go 6, 7, 8. I can only deal 8. All right, that's fine. I'll just attack with what I got. They do have to block, though. And obviously, they have spells they could cast, but on board, they do have to block. Blue-red in the pool. Ottawara, Soaring City. Well, that's not going to work for me. I'll use Royal Treatment because Blossoming Defense is a bigger boost. And they're just going to block this thing anyway. Royal Treatment. Do they have a Daze or Force of Negation? Force of Will is banned. Solitude in response. Okay. That works. Pitched No More Lies on that one. Royal Treatment fizzles. Ottawara fizzles. I can use Seal of Strength to push the construct through the Nick Fury, which I will do if given the opportunity. Okay, they decided against it, so I will save my buff. Yeah, this game has been pretty defined by being on the draw as well. Like, all of the things that happen this game, if they happen with me on the play, where I have 1 more mana than my opponent instead of 1 less, I win those exchanges. Not that that's a profound insight about the Magic the Gathering system, because, obviously. Okay, 4th Aerolingus for 0. That means Nick Fury can hit me this turn and give you the Monarch. And that means they plan on having spells to play in their hand. But I do have a skateboard now, which means they have to answer multiple creatures to not lose the Monarch. I still Explorer is a hell of a creature, too. Okay, you get to draw a card in the end step. I've untapped. I have another protection spell and a buff spell. If I still Explorer resolves and stays in play, I am cooking. If it doesn't, that stinks. I could play Nakia and put the skateboard on her. I mean, Ice Tail with 2 land drops here is crack cocaine. All right, I'm going to play the Ice Tail. It has to be a counter spell or else I get incredible advantage immediately. So their 4-card hand and 3 mana has to have a counter spell and a removal spell for me to not take the Monarch right now and nug them for somewhere between 2 and 5 damage. I actually have 7 damage on the board even. All right, what do we got here? Wash away, counter target spell. Okay, that is disappointing. I could put them to 1. I don't want to put them to 1. I want them to think they have more life than they do. Okay, I have the Monarch, Vines of Vastwood. I don't have any trample. I do still have haste. Nick Fury can activate whenever, if their deck's even built to do that, if there's even any heroes or vehicles in the deck. Okay, Tamio staying back to block. Got him on the ropes. Do I have any lands that grant trample? Is that even a thing? Centaur Glade Garden is +3/+3, not trample. The Shep Oasis, +3/+3, not trample, and also only as a sorcery. Talon Gates can remove. Urza's Cave is just a bunch of extra land drops. Escape Tunnel. That does it. It's not trample, but it works. Psychic Frog. Okay, I might try to go for Escape Tunnel this turn. A Monarch. The problem with Escape Tunnel is that it doesn't actually work if my opponent has a removal spell, because my protection spells, Vines can protect it without making it bigger. Okay, no, I do have moves here. Okay, crop rotation for Escape Tunnel. Where are you? All right, target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. I choose this one. You've got 3 cards in your hand. I have 2 defensive spells in mine, but one of them makes it so my creature's blockable, which doesn't do what I want. Ooh, can't be blocked. Nice. All right, well, I'll play Broker's Hideout and get that out of the way. And I will attack with my unblockable onboard 5/5. I guess I could have equipped Skateboard here to make the damage lethal on board, and Ward 1 probably matters. Yeah, I could have done this better. Seal of Strength. This leaves a mana up. I don't know if that's better than not doing that. Because I could play both protection spells anyway. Yeah, I think I should have equipped the Skateboard. An Edict will cook me, regardless. Tainted Pact. All right, well, they're looking. That resolves. They're going to exile cards from the top of the deck until they find something they think helps. Oh, they put Swords to Plowshares in their hand. That was just the first card they saw. Where did that even happen? Okay, I guess it was literally just the top card and they said, okay. All right. Yeah, that works. Swords to Plowshares. They can wait. They can let me show them what my final trick is. Unfortunately for them, it's Mutagenic Growth, which doesn't change my mana available. But if, like, Blossoming Defense was my last 2 points, then they would get to play around one of the protection spells here. Swords to Plowshares, Blossoming Defense. Did you have another piece? No, let's go. All right. I wish I saw more of the deck on that Tainted Pact. They just took the top card, said okay. This looks like a control deck, but I don't know if I just saw the control half of whatever they're doing. Also, I do think it's safe to say they were not interested in activating Nick Fury. I think he is just there for the colors, and their deck does not have heroes or vehicles in it. Inkmoth Nexus is good into control decks. I'm going to keep this. I even got the Bloated Contaminator. The entire Infect side of the deck, the Poison side, has arrived. All right, we've got turn 1 Fury. Everyone calls him Fury. That's a joke from the movie. Okay, I think I want to use Riveteer's Outlook first, because that's the worst of the fetch lands around. Use it or lose it. And I don't really lose it, but it is correct to use it. Yeah, powering out the Tifa doesn't make sense here. Holding onto the Spirit Guide to surprise them with a protection spell makes sense to me. Devar Stand, okay. So that's target creature gets plus X and indestructible and hexproof. I could play Tifa right now and surprise nerd with the Elvish Spirit Guide. I still don't think I'm in that business because I don't have a win on the following turn. I have no pump spells of any kind. I have lots of fetch lands. I think I'm going to play Inkmoth Nexus and pass. And then I'll play Bloated Contaminator next turn and make them deal with that. And then Tifa can be waiting in the wings. Volcanic Island fetched in the end step. Night Nurse. Healer of Heroes. Okay, there are some heroes in this deck. When this enters, choose target permanent card from your graveyard that was put there this turn, return to your hand. Okay, cool. You get your Wooded Foothills back. That could have been worse. This creature does have lifelink, and it can block. Those are all things to keep track of. Luckily, I'm on the infect plan, and the life doesn't matter. Okay, I'm getting forward. I am getting out-tempoed, though, by the control deck. If they're even a control deck. I have no idea. Okay, do I want Shire Terrace invested proactively in play? I think so. And I'll play Bloats My Goats here. A 4/4 will put an end to your nonsense. Your deck full of 2/1s. Surely your 6 cards don't include a counterspell or a removal spell. Okay, he's at least in there, and I have the option to protect with Tivar's Stand if opponent takes a shot at it with removal. Funny story about this card. I won a standard RCQ with green-white Toxic when that was a deck, and the store I ordered the cards I needed from, which was the host store, had Bloated Contaminator listed on their website, and then I got there and they didn't actually have any, and I had to they had two, they had one, but they didn't have the two they said they had. So I had to find a card for my sideboard that acted like Bloated Contaminator, and I found some blue-green flying creature from the same set. All right, I'll just let plow happen. It was an uncommon from All Will Be One, and there's a Bowmaster. Okay. And that card was a 3-drop with Toxic, and I think you could pay 4 to proliferate or something. And there was actually a game that I won because I could do that, and it wasn't that other card that I actually wanted it to be. All right, lots of damage coming in. I would love to draw another protection spell here. If I can double protect, especially if one is top secret, that would be great. But if Tifa gets countered now, I'm in some trouble. That card is probably unbeatable. Now I can't protect Tifa. I have to give her haste somehow. Zaz Chocobo. Alright, well, that's at least something that's anything. Do I want to play out Tifa to demand Teferi to be used? I think I have to use it, or at least get something going on that. And I'm going to use Prismatic Vista to do all this. Alright, here's Tifa. Her being bounced is not a big deal. I can replay it, but I gotta work through this Teferi somehow. Meticulous Archive in the end step kept the card on top. Tifa does trample naturally. I don't have to grant her that. Thanks, Wizards of the Coast. Okay, they bounced Zaz Chocobo. That's way scarier, actually, than bouncing Tifa. Sacred Foundry shocked it in. Oko. Alright, well, that makes Tifa an elk forever if they want that to be the case. I'm not trading off with any of this shit. If you want to elk the Tifa, I'll just bring the 3/3 beats, and we can do that. Alright, Tifa's an elk. She will be attacking Teferi. Gather Courage. Okay. I could threaten to kill Teferi right now. And I think I should. Okay. Zaz Chocobo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I tap out, I can die to an Oko backswing. Okay. I'll play Vibrant Cityscape. Fire up the Ink Moth. Target it with Gather Courage. Then go to combat. And I'll attack Teferi with Ink Moth. And do I need a blocker, actually? I think Tifa might be better as a blocker. If Teferi leaves, my whole deck unlocks, and I've got all sorts of options. Okay, Teferi's gone. Step in the right direction. Now my Tivar's Stand trick works again. Elking their own creatures is not that good here, because I'll trade with anything with Tifa. I guess Orc Army would be a 4/4 elk, and that would mean you don't have an army. So if I draw a card, Bowmaster will make another 1/1. Okay, they want to trade Orc Army for Tifa. Okay. I accept. Orc Army trades with every creature they have in play. Ang. All right, is this gonna bend my army now or bend my Choco? Who are we bending? Bending my Chocobo. I guess that's fine. All right, happens. All right, yeah, that taps out of Nick Fury activation. I will trade with Night Nurse. My deck doesn't draw cards. I don't care about Bowmaster. And do I want landfall or do I want mana? I think I want mana. Because Chocobo is going to cost me 2 to replay. That's how Airbend works. Chocobo is on the Stackabo. Forest. Landfall trigger. Llanowar Elves. Not unhappy to see you. And I think I pass from here. I am running out of life points to figure this out with. Opponent's still at 22. Nick Fury could still activate if that's even a thing they can do. Okay, the squad is battling. How do I want to handle this? Killing Nick Fury matters very little. It can just come right back. I could make a Tivar stand against the Tifa and get that back into my command zone. Chocobo is just bigger than Tifa next turn. If I take too much damage now, though, Aang will kill me. I think I might use Inkmoth Nexus here to shrink Aang. Oh, Nick Fury can also just buff. Even if it misses, this is an attack for 4 here. Something's happening in response to Shauna's Tidebinder. That permanent loses all abilities for as long as this creature remains on the battlefield. An ability of artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Okay, so countering this, my Inkmoth Nexus is still a land with all its abilities. Land is not one of the things that gets forever smoked. And now they can't Nick Fury. But I also can't fetch, but I didn't need to fetch to do what I wanted to do here. Okay. Activating Inkmoth again. Block to shrink, block to eat, block to chump. I'm at 4. I can play a land that does just straight up beat. Oh god, what is this card? I gotta read it. Choose one. Until end of turn, target creature you control has that base power, toughness, creature type, and gains that ability. 1/3 hexproof turtle, 1/5 reach spider, 3/3 trample elephant. Okay, that's kind of sweet. Promising vein. Promise my chocobo that it can grow up one day. Let's start with that promise. Enters tapped, enters tapped. Okay, they all enter tapped. It's basically the same card, right? Literally the same card. Okay, got it. Understood. I will cast Elvish Spirit Guide from my hand. Entirely what I meant to do at all points with that card. And I'll pass the turn. I think I'm dead if they remember how Nick Fury works, which has not happened yet, but they might have just been waiting for this moment. Yeah, this is just attacks as a 4/4 or a 4/3. They overcommit their mana, though, to do some other dumb shit that doesn't matter. I can navigate this. There is Wooburg in the pool. Nick Fury has activated. Powered up. Do you actually have any of these things? King T'Challa. All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. And there is no combination of 2 creatures I can block and survive this turn. Figured it out. All right. Game 3. I'm on the play. Yeah, maybe the hands where I can't protect Tifa just aren't good enough in matchups like this. In that hand, it had some gameplay. I did continue to do stuff, even though Tifa was never really a factor. But it gave my opponent a lot of time. Like, my opponent had a Teferi in play by the time I resolved my Tifa the first time. I did flood out a bit that game. I drew a lot of lands after keeping a land heavy hand, but maybe that's a reason to mulligan. On the play, no protection, but I do have a bunch of creatures if I find a 3rd mana. Oh, I just realized this is Ghost Quarter. I thought it was Terramorphic Expanse. Doesn't change my play. Yeah, I thought this was a slow fetch. That doesn't change my hand at all, though. All right, GQ, Gear. I wonder if my opponent's deck can play a basic land in it. Is this just Strip Mine? If this is Strip Mine, that might be something they have to think about, even if I don't use it that way. Nicholas, there he is. Oh, Llanowar Elves. That did not come in the correct order. I think I should play it, though. All right, Elves, and put the gear on it. Disappointing. Okay, can I draw the land? No, sir. Okay, without lands, Tifa doesn't matter anyway. Oh, I will pass here. The beats are coming, and they don't stop coming. Something hit the ground running. Okay, they're being pretty aggressive about beating up my mana dorks, which is interesting considering my commander is castable at any point. Do they have it coming? Or do they have it covered, or do they just not care? All right, well, I'm playing Tifa. This is now my only play. Yeah, this Ghost Quarter probably is strip mine against them. It's just not going to matter. I guess if I just draw a land and play this 3/3, that might stabilize the entire board. But having to take one every turn from Centaur Garden has not been great for me either, given the texture of this game. Okay. Lazatep Quarry. I'll play my Ursine Monstrosity. Probably way too late here. If they can answer this, I'm just dead. Okay, Monstrosity's in. They did tap mana and then untap mana. They got something. Guess I just gotta hope it doesn't line up right somehow. Dismember. Okay. Yeah, you're safe. I'm not gonna kill you on the crackback here. So I'm at 2 after having done 4 to myself from Centaur Glade. Yeah, the Bowmaster in particular was a beating. If they just fatal pushed my Llanowar Elves or something, that would have been okay, but the Bowmaster being specifically so good against that. And I got out Savannah Lioned. I had a tall girl and lost to a small boy. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I am on the play in round 4. Our girl Atraxa is back. I'm going to keep. And it's nice. I have multiple ways to ramp, and then multiple defensive cards, and a fetch land on the send turn. Utopia Sprawl can only enchant a forest, so I have to go Fyndhorn Elves. I don't actually have 2 ways to ramp here. I would have to use my fetch land to play Utopia Sprawl to then do something else, which isn't outrageous. Oh god, a card I have to read. Oh, this is Spider-Man camera. Yeah, it's just the stupid online version. All right, 3 film counters, 2 tap, remove a film counter, copy target, activated or triggered ability. That's a very expensive thing that might come up later. Okay, I have another way to defend my rider now. I'm going to deploy Tifa. And I'm tapping Fyndhorn Elves to do it because if they have removal for Fyndhorn, ooh, a subtlety. Cool. That puts the pitched force spike. I would like to put Tifa on top of my deck, and I'll pass the turn. All right, that bought them a turn. Ooh, do you have a 1-lander? Ooh, weird. Okay. Wait, what the fuck just happened? Where is Tifa? Oh, is she in the command zone? Does that just happen automatically? I didn't choose that. I wanted her on top of my deck. What the hell? Well, that's annoying. I didn't want that. I wanted to just spend 2 mana on her this turn. I don't know. Either I misclicked or I misunderstand how anything works. Utopia Sprawl. I'll name green. And I'll attack for 1 this time. I'm not playing around anything anymore. What is going on in that hand? I wonder if they have Rector and Flash and just bet on, or they think this matchup's so bad on the draw that they just bet on Subtlety and Force Spike, and it didn't really work out that way. All right, well, I'm going to summon Tifa, and I'll play Ghost Quarter and tap it for mana to do this. Leaving up 2 green, no attack here. Okay, that clearly didn't work out how they wanted. Yeah, probably kept on the strength of Subtlety plus Force Spike, and then just didn't happen. Took a gamble in a matchup they think is bad. All right, I like my hand. Keep it. Archive. Okay, they're already doing better than last game. 2 colors. I'm gonna Utopia Sprawl onto my Heath. I could Birds of Paradise, and then Bird can cast Sprawl. Like, it's actually more mana efficient to have the creature first, because Utopia Sprawl doesn't have Summoning Sickness. Hallowed Fountain tapped. We're against the blue-white control version of Atraxa. That's not a thing, I made it up. Okay. Jund Panorama. Utopia Sprawl. Name green. And I'm not playing Tifa this turn. What am I doing this turn? I could Wild Growth. I could play Keen-Eyed Curator. I could tap out for Chocobo into every spell imaginable. I think I'd rather Chocobo when I still have a land drop up. Yeah, I'm just going to Curate. I can do the same trick with Wild Growth next turn that I did with Utopia Sprawl this turn, just like Birds of Paradise, cast it for free, basically. And as we've seen throughout this league, having other stuff, if your opponent is turtling up, afraid of your commander, just doing stuff with other stuff is allowed. Fabled Passage. Okay. Wild Growth. I hope they don't play Ghost Quarter or Boomerang. And I do still have a land drop. I'm going to ram my Chocobo in here. See if this is scary enough to counter. There was not a land on top of my deck. Doesn't matter. Curate. I'm going to curate your life total. End step, Aang's Iceberg. I think my Chocobo is going to be gone here. Yep. I cannot defend this rider. The Harmonizer's on top of the deck. And I have two land drops. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, well, I guess I'll just try to kill my opponent here. 1, 2, 3. If I warp this, if I don't Panorama, so 6, 12. I can't kill my opponent this turn anyway. I could just cast this. All right, yeah, I'm just going to cast Harmonizer. If it resolves, I've got some moves with this Fabled Passage. If it doesn't, maybe that's fine. It resolves, so I can protect it. And I am just going to pass here. And I think keeping the Fabled Passage back is still the right way to go. Rakshas's Bargain. I'm very jealous. I love casting this card. Land and Waterlog Teachings to the graveyard. So they would need a sweeper or 2 removal spells and protection spell. Wow, Temple of the False God, and it actually taps for mana. That's never happened in any game of Magic before. All right. Drawing a land would be nice here. Oh, something's happening in my end step. Or in their end step. Opponent's end step. Solitude. Okay, that resolves. I'm going to defend my rider. Gains hexproof and indestructible. This is susceptible to Force Spike. Oh, didn't have it though. Big news. And I drew a land. Oh my god. Okay. Now I have to actually do this math. None of these trample. Or one of them does. But nobody knows that yet. Okay, Terramorphic Expanse. Target Curator. And then I can just attack and see what my opponent does and crack all these lands after the fact. All right, here we go. Terramorphic Expanse. Forest. Double Curator. Fabled Passage. Fetch. Untapped. Or double Harvester. That's 16. And then, should I have put the first double on this so the X3 wasn't exposed? I think I should have. Maybe I'm just bad. I'm willing to believe it. Okay. Yeah, I guess I have to put it here and just go in. If they have Swords to Plowshares, they got me. All right. Or they just take 32. Nice. That was pretty smooth. On to the final round. The BoshNRoll channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. I travel all over the world playing Magic with very expensive cards. I trust Ultimate Guard products to protect the tools of my trade wherever I go. Whether you like magic art, licensed art from other worlds, entirely original art, or the simplicity of plain colors, their products have incredible range to match anyone's style. Protect your cards how I do, stay up to date with all the new releases at ultimateguard.com, and stop by the Ultimate Guard section of your local game store. I'm on the draw in the final round versus a Vohar Vodalian Desecrator. A quick MTG Goldfish look shows that this is a combo deck. They have Doomsday, Yogg-Will, stuff like that in here. This hand is almost there. The Promising Vein can eventually be a forest for Arbor Elf. That's quite a ways away. The Skateboard is kind of mid, but getting it into play is fine. I'm actually going to keep this. If I draw just a forest, or anything that is a forest, this hand is great. And even if I don't, I can work my way to a forest, and when I do, I'll have the gassed up Tifa ready to go. Okay, Lazotep Quarry. Yeah, I'll play that, and I'll just invest the Skateboard now. If this gets Force Spiked, it's not a huge deal. Tap your land. Sucker. Cycling Lorien. Always had it. Searched up regular island. River of Tears is a weird one. Add blue, unless you've played a land this turn, in which case add black. So right now it taps for black. On my turn, it'll tap for blue. It's not a dual land. It's a this or that land. Draw a card, discard a card. If you discard an instant or sorcery, opponent drains for 1, and then you can sacrifice this. Return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Activate as a sorcery. I have played this card in decks before, believe it or not. Drawing that Delighted Halfling is kind of a bummer. I can use Talon Gates to filter Halfling mana here. I just don't really want to use Talon Gates in that way. And that delays my development of Forest for a little while. Delighted Halfling casts specifically Tifa, but alright. I will do this, I guess. Against a blue-black deck, having uncounterable commander is pretty nice. Though I might just get comboed out before that even matters. But my board right now does cast uncounterable Tifa and equip it, and then, surprise, there could be land drops in my hand. Cycling Troll. Look at you, the whole Lord of the Rings draft experience coming together. Got Swamp. I wonder if they're playing around Wasteland, or what's going on with getting the basic islands here, or the basic lands here, when you can get whatever you want. Adventuring Gear, not what I was hoping for. I think having Arbor Elf in play up front is the way to go. Okay. Arbor Elf, and I'll give it haste. Get it set up for next turn to untap my forest that'll enter tap for 2 mana. When it's doing the Vohar thing, they can sack Vohar to get this Fatal Pushback at their convenience. Thirst for Identity. Looted away a loot spell. Busted. Yo, dog, I heard you like looting. Ponder. Using my own favorite weapon against me. They have Doomsday mana, if that's something they can do here. Doomsday plus a loot. A lot of the cards that would win the game are banned from that spot. And casting Doomsday would put you to 10, where Tifa might actually kill you. Looted away Grief. Requiting Hex. I've been requited. And they did gain the 2 life, making Vohar a tiny baby. The Gilded Goose. Oh my god. I could play this, give it haste, immediately sack the food to get a forest. I think that's worth it. Or no, I can't give it haste because that uses the Promising Vein. Alright, yeah, this has not come out very well for me. Okay, I think I'm going to need a forest at some point. Okay, Adventuring Gear. I'll get that in. And I think it's about time to fetch a forest. Spell Piercing my gear. Okay, I don't actually care about that. And I'm going to go get a forest. Alright, the gear was a distraction. I don't have lands to play anyway. Brainstorm. I have played most of the cards my opponent has played against me this game in Legacy. Thoughtseize. Okay. And if my opponent has removal in their hand, they'll take Snakeskin Veil. If they don't, they'll take Invigorate, would be my guess. If they have both, they might just take Gilded Goose, so I can't develop anything. Okay. Scale up. I guess that one does make Tifa bigger in the start case. Oh, this doesn't return it. You cast it. I read this wrong. You may cast target instant or sorcery. Okay, so they can't just bank a card for later. They do have to cast it, and it's only as a sorcery. Deal. All right. Gilded Goose. Life would be pretty good if I had a land. Suit this up with a skateboard. And I can't make a food. I could defend my rider. All right, I guess I won't attack. They don't know I drew a second protection spell, which actually does matter. Tainted Pact. Terrifying. Not that I can do anything about it. Okay. They exiled Corpse Dance, Saw in Half Cut Down, and put Archon of Cruelty into their hand. I don't like that. Okay. So this is a Reanimator strategy. I expect this Archon will be in play very soon. Dance of the Dead. Okay, so this does enter tapped at least. Like, that's something. Yeah, there's nothing to even do here. Yeah, that's dead. And I'll discard... I guess I could have played Defend the Rider and sacked the pilot to keep the goose, but it would cost the food, which makes the goose pointless. Okay, doesn't matter. Alright, I do think Defend the Rider is worse than Snakeskin Veil, even though I'm giving them information, because they knew about these 2 cards. Alright, if I draw a fetch land right now, and my opponent has nothing... Oh my god. Alright, well, I'll send it. That's all we can do. Hope you have nothing. What? Alright, it costs 1 and a black to untap this. GG. Okay. Alright. Well, that was scary. A blue-black Reanimator control deck. Not great for my little girl who just wants to fight. All right, that was partially on me, though, for my sketchy mana base. I will keep this hand. And I'll just play my forest. Was I supposed to play Dryad Arbor there? Yeah, both of these lands don't make mana on the turn I'd want them to. Okay, now they do. All right, I'm actually going to play Dryad Arbor. There's too many things that can happen to my Tifa if I just run it out here. But if they cast a removal spell to try to stun my mana, I could Royal Treat my Dryad Arbor, which is kind of a silly thing, but then I can contaminate Taxian Probe. Wow. That card's legal. I don't think it's too broken for the format. Just surprised. Hadn't seen it. Okay, right now, Spell Snare, Wash Away, those sort of things are up against Tifa. I can replay her again next turn or skip a turn. All right, I'm going to play Tifa. If they have these 1 mana permission spells, they're going to happen at some point. I don't want to run Bloated Contaminator into soft permission, and I want to be able to protect it if I resolve it on the next turn. And I am actually worried enough about my Dryad Arbor that I don't want to develop Zeal of Strength. I'd rather protect my Arbor. Vohar's in. All right, Contaminate. And I do like the idea of dealing damage to my opponent in huge chunks. I drew the Nakia, but I don't want to make that pivot just yet. Opponent has seen Royal Treatment in my hand. There won't be a surprise here. Vohar is looting. Discarded Roiling Dragonstorm. Frantic Search. Oh, they're not even done. Here I thought they'd tap their mana and the turn would be over with whatever happens, but that's not true. Corpse Dance and Jace Wielder. Okay, if they're discarding reanimate spells and not creatures, that means they're not ready to go here. Did discard a Doomsday Payoff. Duress. Well, that's annoying. All right, yeah, happens. I could put a Royal Roll on my Contaminator in response, but then if they have Doomblade, they get to 3 for 2 me. Where now if they Doomblade, it's just a 2 for 2. Feral Ferocity. Fun. Okay, I'm gonna attack with my Bloated Contaminator and see what happens. All right, seems like the answer is they take 4 and get 2 poison. There's nothing else to proliferate, so we'll just proliferate the 1 poison. Escape Tunnel, Nakia, and whatever, Seal of Strength. Let's go. We're on the dump them out and hurt them strat now. Cut down my Dryad Arbor. I could Seal of Strength to save this. Do I care? I don't think so. I've got a lot of mana at this point. Looting with Vohar, 4 cards in hand. Discarded Pact of Negation. Yeah, you won't need that here. Though that is at the spot where they could use it fair and square. My Escape Tunnel is a swamp now, so I don't even need to crack it. I can hold on to that one. Tivar Stand. Okay. That's pretty good. I'm going to attack with my creatures and see what my opponent wants to do. 4, 7, 11. I could go for Exaxes here. I think I'd rather have the Tivar Stand. Or 8, 19, 11. Yeah, I'm 1 short with the Seal of Strength. Okay. I will just do the damage that I have then. Okay. You're poisoned. And I'm going to pass holding up my options. Trying to get this big trucker through. This one tramples. Even if they get a big creature into play, if it doesn't kill me outright, Harkon's a pretty good one. Yep. All right. So that will happen. I'll sack Nakia and discard Titanic Growth. That's the one they know about, and it's the same card as Feral Ferocity. So I can maintain all of my options while giving up none of my secrets. Okay, big draw, Adventuring Gear. I need the mana more than I need Adventuring Gear. All right, I'll attack for hopefully lethal. I have to hope they have exactly 1 removal spell in their hand, basically. All right, I'm going to seal. That uses the onboard trick here. This is currently 2. Yeah, that's not enough, so I'll just hit you for what I can hit you for. I know this Inkmoth Nexus is here. I'm keeping that one on lockdown. Adventuring Gear. If they deal with the Contaminator, Inkmoth Nexus is a serious closer. And if they could just reanimate, or I guess you could sack Vohar, cast Persist to just get the Archon back. All right, maybe I blew it. No, I can Escape Tunnel. Yeah, I can Escape Tunnel the Inkmoth Nexus through. Right, Dance of the Dead. What is more important here? I think it's Tivar's Stand. Right, I'll discard Ferocity. I could just grab Duress from the graveyard and cast it right now. That would be pretty good. Okay, here we go. Big Rips. Finhorn Elves is not the big rips I was looking for. The good news is I don't have to make this unblockable, though, because it's already... I could fetch. That's a buff. I have to animate and then equip gear and then fetch. That's not good enough. Okay. All right, I'll just make this a poison fella. Attack. So you untap this, you attack for 10, 11. Okay. Not dead yet. I'm just very badly burnt. There's no reason to play Findhorn Elves because it'll just die to the Archon. And they could do the correct sequence here, which is fight over infect creatures in the end step. Like, don't let me just do this. Okay. I will protect that. Or I'll try. I still have open mana. Okay, so you can bash me for 10 here. If you are somehow unable to continue playing and I draw a land, I could win this game. Like if these 5 cards in hand don't kill Enigmoth Nexus. This happens, discard Findhorn Elves. Wasn't helping anyway. Played a land, that's 4 cards in hand. Vohar only activating as a sorcery is a huge deal right now, or else I would be just hard locked. Looting with Vohar. If they have like Collective Brutality or something, they could just kill me with deal 2. Wishclaw Talisman. Okay, so they could just wish for some removal spell right now and be fine. I mean, I get a wish too, but my deck, I'm mono green landfall. What am I going to wish for? Yeah, this one looks pretty bad. This Archon of Cruelty is tough. They looted a bunch of times, a bunch of turns in a row, even discarding a reanimate spell, which makes me think this Archon was not there. And then one Vohar activation later, and suddenly it was. And that's that. Is there anything I can wish for? Can I exile this Archon or win the game in any capacity? I don't think so. I guess scale up is the one thing I could do, maybe? Or the deck has quick reflexes in it. That would beat any removal spell they have. Not an Edict, though, if they have an Edict, but this doesn't buff my creature, so it doesn't matter. And I can Wishclaw on my turn. It doesn't have to be at sorcery speed. I guess Blossoming Defense is the best thing I can get here, because that both protects my creature and goes +2. And they just don't have to take action, though. They have me beat, if they play correctly. I'll get Blossoming Defense, I guess. And then back with my sweet little Inkmoth Nexus and hope that they jam off, tap out for removal, which there's no reason to do at all. All right, well, here's my spell. GG. Into the Floodmaw. Yep, that does work. It's currently a creature. GG. Yeah, positive record with Tifa Lockhart. I understand the appeal. Deck's very powerful. Probably not my particular wheelhouse. I mean, that Vohar deck we played against was very cool. The Atraxa deck looked very powerful, but also kind of clunky. In Nick Fury, I mean, you just put whatever 99 cards you want and play Savannah Lions as your commander, whatever, man. I'm not interested in that, though it does seem like a playground of infinite possibilities. But as far as Tifa goes, this deck is hyper-focused. It's very good at what it does. It's got a lot of cool cards in it. And even without really knowing the metagame or what interaction my opponents might propose, I still made a game out of most of those. This was fun. I am looking forward to playing a lot more Duel Commander. There are still 9 more of these coming from Trazaeth. And it's a whole spread of different colors and different play styles and everything. Some meta stuff, some stuff from Trazaeth's own play group represented some of the homies and their brews. It was fun. This format's cool. I love it. Any Eternal format, 1v1, where deck building matters and knowing the metagame matters, rewards knowing what's going on. And this checks all those boxes. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.